Hey, I'm Krista, and I am following up our first video about Jesus with another video about Jesus. Uh, it's really important for us to understand who he is to make sense of what he did and what he said. By the way, my dogs are running around, so you're going to hear a lot of noise above me. Um, it's an aside. But, okay, back to Jesus. So, not growing up in the church, it is helpful for me to think of things that will help me organize my thoughts because there's lots to know about God. And so I kind of start with the big things, like what is essential to know about God to make sense of all of these other things that we read and know from like our own even personal experience in prayer and relationships and things like that. So what I think is essential to know about God is that he cares about life. All of this, everything he has done, has said, is because he cares about the quality and longevity, if you will, of our life. He wants us to live forever. He wants us to have an abundant life, a life that is overflowing, that is flourishing. And all of this, everything he has done and said, is so that we are oriented towards the truth, oriented towards reality. The reality is that we do not have life within ourselves. We are not able to extend our lives. We are not able to create life from nothing. We participate in life, but we cannot make ourselves live or remain alive. Our life will ultimately come to an end. He is different because he is God. He is the source of life. He's the source of all living beings, creatures, and creation itself. And so, in order for us to live, to become fully alive, we have to connect to the source of life. When we are connected to the source of life, we become alive. We live and we stay alive. And as long as we remain connected to him, we will live forever. And that is why God came to earth. He was showing us what he cares about and what will help us to live. He said, I have come so that they may have life and have it abundantly, so that we don't just exist, but that we actually live. So how did he do that? Well, he first showed us what it means to be alive. So he's the first fully alive human. He is humanity and divinity interconnected or completely connected. He is fully alive because he is connected. He is God and man together as one. So God talks about unity with God, making us alive. And so Jesus is the first fully alive human because he is human and God. So it is humanity and divinity fully united as one. And that's how he compares himself to the Father, right? The Father and I are one. So this connection to the Godhead gives us life. And if we know that truth, he says, I want them to know the truth. So that is the truth. That's the nature of our reality, that we need to be connected to the source of life in order to live. And he is a God of revelation. So that means he reveals the nature of reality to us. And he reveals himself to us so that we may know the truth, so that we're not trying to get life from other places. And that's kind of the story of humanity, is that we try to get access to life in almost every other way other than connecting to God. So I get life from having too many glasses of wine, right? I get life from pursuing my desires, those things that like I desire. And if I get what I desire, then that just like, ooh, that brings me to life because it makes me feel alive. But ultimately, as we know, like alcohol doesn't bring life. If I get what I want, it doesn't prolong my life. I mean, it like those feelings or that sense of what do I want to say? excitement dies down, right? Those are only temporary ways that we make us feel alive. So again, like all of those issues surrounding addiction and pornography and things that like we go after to help us feel alive that ultimately have no life within them, only last for so long. So, but we spend our lives again pursuing things that we think will make our life better or complete our life or whatever it looks like. And ultimately, God is saying, no, the truth of the matter is, I am the only way that you are going to feel alive. And so when we are united with Him, when we connect to Him, all of those other things wash away. Our desires change. Our desire begins to orient towards things that are life-giving. And we'll talk about those things next video. Maybe I'll put on a different shirt to signal that it's a new video. But that is His way of orienting us to what is true, that He came down to earth to say, this is what being alive looks like. If you are united with the source of life, you will live forever, because He even showed us in His death, right? So He died, but in His resurrection showed us that, in fact, when we are united to the source of life, that we too will live just like He lived. And next video, we're going to talk about what that type of life, because that life, the capital L life, looks very different from our understanding of what it means to be alive. So that's what we're going to talk about next. Thanks.